We turn now to the top stories in the megacity this morning. We start off with another violent attack on a Toronto cabbie. A driver was smashed over the head with a beer bottle in the Danforth and Logan area after picking up 5 people. He pulled the car over when his passengers started drinking. Police say they're looking for 3 male and 2 female suspects. Toronto Police and Megacity Mayor Mel Lastman were on hand today to kick off a week-long initiative to combat people running red lights at high-risk intersections. Videographer Dominic Shulo has the details.
Toronto Police have started a week-long initiative to crack down on red light runners, specifically at high-collision intersections. Today, they're at Jane and Eglinton, and right here at Bay and Wellesley.
When this officer here observes someone disobey a red light or commit an infraction, he radios to the other officers who then subsequently pull them over.
Just how long can you keep doing this, putting your men out at intersections?
Well, we really can't sustain it for a long period of time, although it's certainly my intention to keep up some very strict enforcement at intersections right across Toronto.
Eastbound red Oldsmobile.
10 people were just caught right here running red lights, even though we have about 10 cops standing right here and they can see the 10 police here. This has got to stop. We want a safe city and we demand a safe city.
Many pedestrians themselves are asking for red light cameras to help nab violators. This blitz continues all week. Dominic Shulo, Bay and Wellesley, CablePulse24.
And let's check out how the streets are doing around the city at this hour. We go live to some of our eyes cameras, starting with a look along the Gardiner Expressway. Looking west from the CN Tower, the Gardiner's moving well both east and westbound at Strawn. On the Don Valley Parkway, the southbound lanes are busy, but they're moving. Northbound's doing a little better. And at the 401 and the 404 junction, no problems on either the 404 or the 401 at this hour. Well, we're moving from the streets to the skies now. It's time for a CablePulse24 weather watch. Today's highs across Ontario: Ottawa 17 degrees, Kingston 20, North Bay plus 10, Barrie 20, Toronto 21, London 22, and Windsor all the way up to 23 degrees. Tonight's lows: Windsor down to 15, London and Toronto 14, Barrie 7, North Bay 2, Kingston and Ottawa 6 degrees. Today's national highs: Vancouver 11, Edmonton 12, Regina 12, Winnipeg 9, Quebec City 12 degrees Celsius, and New York City a very balmy 27 degrees. Taking a look at the cloud cover for the next 24 hours, we'll get some showers and thunderstorms moving in later this afternoon and tonight, and they could be heavy at times. Time now to step out of the mega city for a look at what's making news elsewhere. We begin with some powerful examples of Mother Nature. A sudden spring thaw is causing deadly floods in southern Quebec, forcing almost 500 people from their homes. There's extensive damage in a lot of communities, some of which are still recovering from January's ice storm. To make matters worse, forecasters are calling for up to 60 millimeters of rain over the next few days. A Toronto man has died after trying to rescue his dog from the swollen waters of the Humber River. A teenager fishing nearby with friends tried to save 47-year-old Neil Kennedy, but he was pronounced dead at St. Joseph's Hospital.
The water's somewhat deceptive. People, if you look at the river, you think it would be simple to wade across. In fact, it's not that way. The water is moving very fast. It's very turbulent, and it sucks people in, and it's very cold. It doesn't take long before you can't resist the water any longer.
The Rottweiler climbed out of the water on its own. With spring thaw and all the rain we've been having, authorities are asking everyone to stay clear of all creeks and rivers. Breaking news here on CablePulse24. Provincial police have closed off a section of a rural road north of Alliston, Ontario. Reports say police are investigating a shooting. Earlier today, a 12-year-old girl and a 14-year-old boy were airlifted to Toronto hospitals. Their mother is also injured, and apparently the father is dead after an alleged domestic dispute. We'll have more for you as details come in. Stay tuned to City Pulse at noon for more on this breaking story. There's still lots more ahead here on CablePulse24 after this short break. We'll learn about investing your money, and you'll get some helpful tips to get you going if you're thinking of starting your own business. Stay with us. Well, you can't put it off any longer. It's time, and you know it's time to get a handle on your finances and to learn how to invest all of that hard-earned money of yours. Videographer Tanya DePellegrin tells us that this is Investor Education Week.
To dig in investments this year, but I don't feel knowledgeable at all. I had my guidance from my husband, who pretty much told me what's best to invest.
For more information, you can call the OSC at 593-8314. At Bay and Bloor, Tanya DePellegrin, CablePulse24.
Well, anybody who has ever started a small business on their own will tell you that that is a real education. Personal finance expert Linda Leatherdale has the tips on how to get the doors open on your new business.
The numbers are explosive. Some 2.5 million Canadians are now self-employed in this country, and the number is growing. I'm Linda Leatherdale on Eglinton West for CablePulse24.
Well, we move from small business to an agreement by two really big businesses, Chrysler and Canadian Pacific Railway. CPR captured 100% of Chrysler's Canadian domestic traffic, winning an open bid competition for distribution of all Chrysler Canada finished vehicles. The contract will see CPR moving vehicles from Chrysler's Windsor Mixing Center and from the U.S. and Mexico to all Canadian destinations. At the destination, trucks move the vehicles to Chrysler's dealers. It's time for a short break here on CablePulse24. When we come back, we'll have a look at the business stories of the day, so stay with us. Welcome back. Our top business story today, Ottawa investigating tide selling practices. The House of Commons committee looking into the future of financial institutions is probing allegations that banks are forcing small businesses and individuals to subscribe to one bank for all of their services. Tech ministers are taking a closer look at oil production. They gather for an emergency meeting today in Vienna, Austria. The oil cartel is expected to approve a 2.3% cut to global output. They hope this will help cure the depressed oil market. Other major oil producers outside of OPEC are also pledging that they will cut production, and already prices have gained $2 a barrel since the decision came down March 22nd. Higher prices on the minds of many Toronto sports fans. Richard Petty, who heads the merged Toronto Maple Leafs Toronto Raptors entity, has been musing about introducing seat licenses for the Leafs. Sounds kind of expensive. Let's head to King Street East and the Financial Post newsroom, where sports columnist Jamie Wayne is standing by live with the details. Jamie, what is a seat license?
Justin, they're called personal seat licenses, actually. PSLs, like the world needs another acronym. And what they are a creative way to get subscribers to spend more money for their seats and at the same time raise money to defray the cost of a new building. They were originally created, I believe, for either an NFL or NBA expansion team not too long ago to help pay the exorbitant costs of getting into the league. The expansion fees are quite high these days, and to build a new stadium. What makes it interesting in the Toronto Maple Leafs scenario is that it's never really been done for an existing franchise moving into a new building, as far as I understand. Now, let me also add that with these personal seat licenses, you own the seats, but they're like an initiation fee. You still have to buy the season's tickets year after year. But if you own the seat license, you can flip it to somebody else for whatever you can get for it, turn a nice little profit, pay the capital gains, and walk away smiling.
So they're basically doing this, why then? Because they're in the hole, what, with this merger and building this new center, and they figure that this is a fast way to raise capital?
Well, I don't know. One would wonder why they are doing this. They're sitting on a huge windfall with television revenue from one of the breweries. Are going to pay them a whack of dough at the end of next year, when at the end of next season, when the local TV rights package comes due. That's going to be 2 or 3 times what they're getting now from local television. if they made this takeover, they certainly would assume that they'd have the money to do this sort of thing. Like I said, it's very sensitive. There are families that have had season tickets in Maple Leaf Gardens for 60 years to now turn around when they're moving into a building which will be newer and shinier, but not nearly as glamorous as the old Maple Leaf Gardens, and charge them an extra amount of money to sit in the same seats they've been sitting in there. That's very sensitive. They're going to have to do some long thinking about this.
Well, okay, then I guess another possible scenario, at least one local columnist has already suggested that if the Leafs and the Raptors have already merged, why not just keep going and merge with the Toronto Blue Jays and then reap the rewards of three-way synchronicity? Does that make any sense to you?
Well, it does make some sense in a way, forming a huge mega sports corporation, but then I think they would have to eventually go public again to again raise funds. You know, they'd have to buy the Sky Dome, they'd have to buy the Blue Jays. The NFL team, which would be a part of this package, will likely require a new stadium as well, and the going rate to get in the NFL these days is something like 400 million US probably. So there's a lot of money involved. The seat license thing, what I would do if I ran the team is that I would offer existing subscribers the option of purchasing these licenses. If they don't own the seats, they can't transfer ownership of these seats to somebody else, but they still remain subscribers as they have been for years. The people that do have the seats, licenses, can do whatever they want with the thing. There are already some seat licenses for the Raptors franchise, about 2,000 I believe, but those only extend to the Raptors seats. It has nothing to do with the Maple Leaf seats. So it's all very confusing. I'd hate to think this is a cash grab. This is a team that's been well supported, even though the on-ice product has not been that good for the last 30 years. They've gotten a lot of money out of fans. Like to see them do the right thing here.
Rather than just trying to gouge them for more. Jamie Wayne, thanks very much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Justin, don't be a stranger.
Okay. Time now for a short break here on Cable Pulse 24. When we come back, we'll have more sports for you, the highlights, as a matter of fact. And in movie news, Grease splattering the big screen again. So stay with us. Well, welcome back to Cable Pulse 24. Time to find out what's happening in the world of sports. Patrick Reynolds joins us now with the highlights.
Which Carter's Raptors in tough against the playoff-hungry Magic yesterday at the Dome. I'm Patrick Reynolds, Cable Pulse 24.
Take two. Well done, guys. Good stuff.
One story we'll continue to watch here on CP24 is the Canadian dollar taking a drop today. As of a few minutes ago, our buck had lost about 1/3 of a cent. Now, the main reason for this is not the weakness of the currency, but the relative strength of the U.S. greenback. It's been skyrocketing against currencies like the Deutschmark and other European money. There's also the charade factor. Business editor Libby Znaimer will have more on that story. And that's your Mega City News to the Minute. I'm Justin Smallbridge. Stay tuned. City Pulse at noon with Laura DiBattista is coming up in just 2 minutes.